Welcome to DFO Guide. This is the real Batman. DFO just got a brand new patch that contains two new subclasses as well as a skill revamp. With that said, there are likely many new and returning players. Now, level 115 cap has been out for a little bit more than half a year, and there are many new dungeons and gear options. So, if you are new to this cap, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back to DFO. Let us help you get started. While you're starting out, make sure you also activate Google Authenticator. There are certain functions in the game that you cannot access without it. Now, with that out of the way, let's go over the two new subclasses. First, you got the new Archer subclass. It's called Chimera. It's a DPS class, as indicated by this D. We also have the new Female Gunner class. This is Paramedic, which is a buffer, basically a support class, indicated by that B. Now, you basically want to make one of each of these classes. The game forces you to. There are events specifically for these two. So go ahead and do that. When you're starting out, you're more than welcome to look through the story, read everything. I've seen all this way too many times. I'm going to skip it all. Okay, so you'll notice the booster event right here. You can see the paramedic only booster, the chimera only booster, and then one booster for any class that you so choose. While we are on that subject, I wanted to take a moment to make some suggestions for classes to use the third booster on. I want to say first though, all classes are viable. So I'm going to post a few things in the description. First is DFO Dictionary. This is a guide made by the owner of the 80% DFO Discord. His name is Meng. In this DFO Dictionary, there is a tab on the bottom, How to Pick a Class. You can go ahead, give that guide a read if you'd like, watch the videos linked there, get a feel for what the classes look like. I will still give some of my personal recommendations for newcomers though. All these classes generally are very simple to use, very easy to play, especially for newcomers and returning players. First suggestion, Vagabond. She's a female slayer. Second suggestion, Ghostblade, male slayer. We also have female mage, battle mage. Then we also have another archer class, traveler. And finally, the class that I personally recommend the most, female fighter, Nen Master. I personally believe every account, every person should have a Nen Master, female Nen Master on their accounts. She's very easy to play, a lot of AoE, very good survivability, and yeah, just highly recommend her. At the end of the day, though, choose a class that you think you will enjoy because of aesthetics, feel, whatever. You can create more classes without boosters. It will just take a little bit more time. So don't ever feel like there's a wrong choice for the last booster. You can just make another character. I do want to note though that for the booster capsules, I highly recommend making a percent damage character. To explain simply, there are two kinds of damage classes: percent damage classes and fixed damage classes. There's very little difference in the actual numbers and the actual damage, especially for newcomers. However, there is a major difference in how you upgrade your weapon between those two types. Basically, percent damage characters spend a lot more gold upgrading their weapon than a fixed damage character would. And the booster capsule gives you a free upgraded weapon. So you save a lot of money making your booster character a percent class. If you really want to play a fixed class, you could level them up normally and you don't have to spend an unnecessarily extra amount of gold to get an upgraded weapon. I'm going to put a link in the description listing all the fixed classes in red and the percent classes in blue for your reference. However, if you are very insistent on making a fixed character from the booster because you really like them, you can still save your upgraded weapon for another percent class down the line if you so choose, and I'm going to show you how to do that at the very end of the video. If I were to recommend some fixed damage classes, the ones I would suggest are Male Slayer, Ashura, even Berserker. Berserker is good too. We also have, for Female Slayer, Spectre. And if you really want to make another buffer or support, the one that I recommend is the Female Priest, the Female Crusader. Now let's get to the actual gameplay over here. Go ahead and use that booster capsule. You're going to straight away level up to 110. You're going to be taken to this tutorial area and just follow the directions. Once you get to the next room, go ahead and just use the suggested skills that they will give you. We'll figure out skill builds later. And I choose to take away all of my buff skills. Those are the blue ones. The yellow ones are the ones that actually do damage. And just for the tutorial, I like to take away the buff skills. You just need the damage for now. In another section, you'll also get to choose your VPs and new skill evolutions. Just go ahead and use the auto suggested ones for now. Once you finish the tutorial, you're going to want to complete your quests as soon as possible to get to level 115. You can follow the arrows to tell you where to go, or you can press F1 for the quests. Press cancel here, then press location, it'll tell you exactly where to go. Press space, and just keep following. If you want to skip dialogue much quicker, instead of pressing space, press escape and it skips all dialogue, and then press space to accept or confirm quests. You can get through this whole area, the whole quest system very quickly. So again, skip dialogue, press escape. So escape, space, escape, space. You skip a lot of it really quickly. Once you start getting to the dungeons, select the normal difficulty. This allows you to blow everything up in one shot. This is basically just leveling up to 115. You want to get there as soon as possible. If you really want to challenge yourself, I don't recommend it, but you can go on higher difficulties. You don't get much benefit for doing so. Breeze through everything, get to 115 as soon as possible. While you're playing, you might notice a few things. On the bottom, you get some notifications every now and then that your Irad Explorer account just leveled up. It's basically your account level. Gives you a little bit extra stats, gives you a few other benefits. It doesn't really matter, but it's to kind of show how far you've come leveling your account. The second thing you might notice is whenever there are items on the floor, it sections to your character. Back in the day, you had to pick up every item manually, but now there's an item that allows you to pick up things that are close to you. If you press F6 and you go to your creature, you can see that this item right here is the reason you're able to pick up these items. You get this for free from the booster. If you create a new character manually, you need to buy these items. Once you get to a certain point in the story, it's going to ask you if you want to continue doing the main quests on the left or to start farming Disciple of Doom on the right. I don't recommend farming Disciple of Doom yet, especially if you're new. Just continue with the main quests on the left side. Keep going, level to 115 first. That's the main priority. Something you might also notice while you're playing, right when you get inside a dungeon, if you're playing a DPS character, it will automatically cast a buff skill. The buff skills are very important. It gives you somewhere around 70 to 80% damage, depending on your character. If you're playing a buffer like Paramedic, it does not auto cast, and just like that, it will tell you, hey, you didn't cast your buff skill yet. But for DPS classes, it automatically does it for you whenever you enter a dungeon. Returning players will appreciate that because before you had to cast it manually every single time you enter a dungeon, but now it does it for you. And also when you die and you revive, it does it automatically for you. It's really nice. I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you want to get more EXP per dungeon clear, go to the mileage shop over here, buy this potion, and you get 1 mileage point per dungeon clear, so you need to clear your dungeons first. So use that. You get a little bit more EXP. Put on your hotkey bar, and then once you get inside the dungeon, don't forget to actually use it. In my case, press 6, and you get a little bit more EXP from this. Something else that you're going to have to note while you're leveling up is you'll notice a fatigue bar right here. Now, you start with 156. It takes 1 fatigue point per room for each dungeon. There's some exceptions. Some dungeons, some special dungeons, it costs 8 to just enter and just takes 8 for that whole dungeon. Some dungeons take 3 per room, and I'll go over the exceptions as we get through all the content. But once you run out, you can't really play most content anymore. In order to refill it, you do get a few items. So you get this 156 recovery potion. You can use it when you have 0. Also, you'll notice on this tab here, Siria's Greetings, you get a 30 fatigue potion right here. Generally, for the fatigue potions, I recommend not using any until you have 0. This is because you can enter some dungeons, like the 8 fatigue dungeon ones, if you have less than 8, like 2 or 3, and uses the rest of your fatigue. You want to maximize each use of your fatigue points as much as possible. And another thing to note, when you press F1, you go to your quests after you've leveled up a few times, you see this clear act quests button. It doesn't really matter if you're a booster character to clear these. I think you get more EXP uh, doing the higher level quests. If you level past a certain quest, you get to skip them. But this is very important if you're leveling a character from scratch from level 1. Basically, whenever possible, clear those act quests as soon as possible because you will level up way faster than the quests allow you to. You want to skip as much of those as possible. Once you hit level 115, the game will sometimes ask you, do you want to continue doing more of the quests? Honestly, if you want to read more of the story, go ahead, but skip it. You don't really need to do that. Now, I just had just enough fatigue points to level to 115, and once you do so, there's a lot of important things we need to do before you start tackling the new gearing, the new dungeons that are accessible to you. First of all, you gotta look at our skills. So if you press K, you look at your skills. We still have a lot of SP to use in our skills. And I do have some suggestions on how to find the right builds. I'm going to link a resource that I personally use. It's called DFO Gang. This is the website right here. So go to ranking, choose the class that you're playing. In this case, it'll be paramedic. And you get to see a list of all the characters in the server. You get to click on one of them. You get to see all their skills, and a very easy way to copy their skill build. Go to the bottom. You see the skill code, copy that, go back to your game, press K, and you get to go to menu, and you can import skill codes. You get to copy, you can even export your skill build for other people to use. Press OK, bam, I have their skill build now, even all of their skill evolve and skill enhances. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. I do recommend, though, um, make sure whatever skill build you copy, especially if you're new, make sure they have their Third Awakening maxed out. There are some players and some classes that don't level up their Third Awakening. Those are very specific builds that are in the end game. I don't recommend those kind of builds for newer players. If you find a skill build that doesn't use the Awakening skills like that, try a different one. Maybe go to not one of the top players exactly, but maybe one of these, another page. Go to one of their skill builds because they're going to be closer to what you're going to want to do at the early game. And one more thing you want to note when choosing your skill build, when you press M, M for map, if you look at your crit rate right here, this stat, so it depends whether you're a physical or a magic class. In this case, paramedic is a physical class using physical crit. Make sure that this is maxed out at 100. Especially if you're new in the early game, it's very hard to get to that number. If you don't have that number, you do have free crit, 10% crit up here. You could probably take a few points in one of these lower level skills, maybe this one. Level this up until you get to 100 crit. I'm a little bit over right now. But your crit, when you press M, isn't always accurate because you might have some buff skills. Check what your crit is after you enter the dungeon, and as long as that is 100 or above, you'll be just fine. And case in point, I'm in the training room right now. Inside an actual dungeon, my crit is way over 100, so I actually don't need to level up that crit whatsoever. Not on this character, at least. For the most part, if you are a booster character, you leveled to 115, you found a decent skill build, you're ready to tackle the new dungeons. However, if you leveled up from scratch, there are still quite a few things you still need to do because you're not given a lot of free stuff like with the booster characters. So, first of all, check your mail. It's in your room. You can also look in this tab here. Check the mail, receive everything. You get some gear here. Now, this gear, your booster character already has all of these things, so you don't really need this. But if you're a fresh character from level 1, this gear is going to be better than what you have. But if you're a booster character, go ahead and get rid of this. Let's find a disassembler somewhere. Let's go. Well, I finally found a disassembler. So click this guy. Armor registration is the same thing as disassembling. I like to select all up to legendary. And it won't let you auto select by pressing A because these already have enchants on them. So I'm going to manually click on all these, get rid of all of them. I'll explain more on disassembling and gearing in the next video. Next, what I want to do is to basically set up your account safe. So you'll notice this safe right here, and you have your personal safe. There's a second safe here too. For returning players, this is new. For the account vault, I mentioned earlier that you need Google Authentication. You cannot access this without Google Authenticator. The account vault lets you share certain materials across your whole account. This is absolutely necessary. My main account has so many things in the account vault. You grab everything from here. Now, initially, you don't have an account vault. You need gold cube fragments. You need to buy it off the auction house. And you should have some gold from the quest you did. So go to the auction house down here. You also press B as it says. Search for gold cube fragments in the search bar. Gold cube. Alright, click on that, search. They're not that expensive. So click on this, purchase. I think you needed only 100 to buy some. And then you have your gold cube fragments. So your account save, you get to unlock it. To unlock a few more slots, you get to use some gold. I have 100,000 gold right now, so I'm going to do that. 150,000, go ahead. And as you get more gold, go as much as you can. Eventually, you will need to purchase Sarah. That's the paid currency in this game. But go as far as you can. Next, let's talk about fusion stones. If you press I for inventory, or you can press M for your stats, you'll notice these yellow diamonds or these blue diamonds over here, and you put on these fusion stones during the tutorial. So booster characters already have these fusion stones, but if you're a fresh character from level 1, you'll need to buy them. So go to Mystical Grimoire. The fusion stones was gear from the level 110 cap, but to fast track it, you get to buy it straight from the Mystical Grimoire. And hopefully you have enough materials by the time you get to that point. So there's a different set of fusion stones for the left and the right side. So let's focus on the left side, the armors first. So generally the top, bottom, shoulder, belts, and shoes. Generally, you want to get wins, with a few exceptions. For the top, I recommend Earth because it gives you speed, and the belts. Earth gives you crit chance, and new characters have a hard time hitting the crit cap. So that's very helpful. So top and belts, Earth. The rest I recommend winds for cooldowns. Next, let's talk about bracelets. You definitely want skill pearl extension. Gives you skill range. I'm going to skip necklace and ring for now. I'll explain later. Sub equipment. Reaper's Trap. More skill range. Magic Stone. One of two things. I recommend mostly Second Coming of Glory. Gives you crit chance. And if you look at option 1, it gives you fire, water, light, and shadow attack attributes. There are 4 elements that you can inflict. Booster characters automatically get some items that let you inflict a certain element. Now, buffers don't have this, but if you press F6, this blue slot here, it will, on a DPS character, it'll tell you that you're inflicting a certain element. But fresh new characters will not have that, so that's why I recommend for Magic Stone getting Second Coming of Glory. Some classes automatically inflict an element, but just in case, grab this. Earrings, no doubt. Apocalypse signals, you want the movement speed. Non-negotiable. Now for necklace and ring, I don't recommend getting this because, as you notice, necklace and ring has a blue fusion stone. You get primeval fusion stones. Where is it? Primeval fusion stone. These two. Now they are a lot more expensive, 400 guild coins instead of 30. So if you don't have many guild coins, go ahead and grab necklace and ring from there. Doesn't really matter what you grab, but these are stronger than the epic ones. So you'll grab one of those. The ones I recommend, if RNG favors you, World Idol Ring for cooldown, or Finger Pointed at Heretics for damage. Now, these are random, so you might not get what you want. Just use whatever you have. You're going to replace them one day eventually. This is 110 cap stuff. Glory de los Empire, or Glory of the Pell, Los Empire, for necklace. I don't think any of them else are good. Well, Time to Find Memory is good for our buffers. This resets cooldowns every now and then. Now, to upgrade your fusion stones, the right side, you'll notice on near the bottom of option 1, you see these triangles. You get to upgrade all of the right side. The left side doesn't have those upgrades. Now, you buy them right here. This is per week for the epic ones, and for the primeval version, for the necklace and ring, 2 per month. You can also upgrade manually by buying Forgotten Lights, but it costs money, it's RNG, it's really frustrating. I don't recommend it. Just focus on getting enough and waiting for these. So that's Fusion Stones for new characters. Now let me show you where to get some cheap enchants for your characters that you leveled from level 1. Again, your booster characters do not need these enchants. Those enchants are just fine. So let's go to Mystical Grimoire. There's certain enchants you can get from that. So go to the Enchant tab. The ones that you still want to get from here are, for Buffer and for Dealer, Shoulder and Belt. And also all 3 special equipment beads. All of these are good. All 3 of them. Now let me show you where you can get some other enchants. Let's start with the weapon bead. So you want to go to Empyrean, Warheight, and scroll down to the bottom right, Temporary Post. Go to shop here, go to enchants, the weapon damage bead is what you're looking for, and then there's the buffer one too. Choose the weapon elements that you are dealing with. If you're not sure, press M for map. Whatever you're inflicting, whatever the highest amount is, that's what you want. It also has to be highlighted, otherwise you're not inflicting that element. So you can also get the materials, go to the right. It ends up taking you to the Ispin's channel. You don't have to walk all the way here. You can move the channel here if you want, or just press channel, go to Legion, Ispin's is down here. Next, let's look for some good shoe enchants. You want to go to Sion, Northern White Ocean, this valley right here. Asha has these good shoe enchants. Now, to get Forgotten Light, you can do the dungeon for this area, but you can also buy Forgotten Lights right here. Now, if you also happen to have Forgotten Lights like I do, if you're not sure what to use these on, any of these equipments, any of these materials, left click, view all shops, and what do you know? Those enchants are right there. Alright, next let's go to top and bottom enchants. Go to Sion, you're going to Dusky Island. This guy has top and bottom beads. So in order to get this material, you have to do the dungeon to the left here. But again, you can go to channel through here, or just go to channel, go to Legion, Dusky Island. All these 4 dungeons right here are from the old cap. You should be able to breeze through it on the easiest difficulty, no problem. And finally, let's go to one more area. So Sion, we're going to Astrahan, right over here. This cube thing, not the raid shop, the regular shop, you have these enchants. These are for your accessories. They're not quite as good as the booster ones, but they're not bad. Now, in order to get this material, you have to do the raid that opens on Wednesday and the rest of the days. My next guide on what to do for your dailies and weeklies, I will show you how to get more of these, but you should have plenty of these materials once you get going. So again, those are all the enchants that you can get for cheap on all of your alts that you leveled from level 1. Reminder, booster characters do not need any of this. Now this video is long enough, it's almost done, but I wanted to follow up on something I talked about earlier. So what if you made a fixed damage class? You want to save your upgraded weapon for a percent damage class, because as I mentioned, fixed damage classes, you don't have to spend much money to upgrade your weapon, but percent does. So as soon as you hit level 115, I personally recommend unequip your weapon, put it away, put it in the safe. If you accidentally inherit or transfer these stats to another weapon, you can't transfer to another character ever again. So you put it away, and you don't have a weapon, so what you can do is go to the armory, go to weapon here, and by default, it will probably be on the weapon you had, which was the pink one, but you've pressed purple. You disassembled one purple weapon earlier, if you followed what I said. Press equip. If you have some gold, you can reassemble that weapon. You can use this. Now I'll tell you how to upgrade this to its proper power again in the next video, but at least you have a weapon. If you're a fixed damage character, it doesn't cost any money to upgrade it, just some time. Now let's say we are ready to transfer my weapon to another class. So let's say I'm playing this female gunner, fixed damage female gunner. Uh, this isn't a fixed damage character, but let's just pretend she is. So I want to transfer to another percent class gunner. So go to my safe, and remember that you can't transfer stats from a gun to like a sword or a gun to like a fighter weapon. It has to be a gun to another gun. So what you do is you press N, you go to Arad, Lamidia Basilica, right? Let's go here, and you're going to, oh my goodness. Okay, this guy, transcend equipment, and if you have the materials to do so, again, I'll show you how to do it in my next video where you get everything. When you press confirm, it will transfer your weapon into your account vaults, into here. And then all you have to do is pick it up on the character you want it on. That's it. Well, that's pretty much it on how to get started. The next video will show you what the basic gearing process looks like and what your dailies and what your weeklies are going to look like. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do want to give you a present. So in order for me to know that you watched at the very end, I want you to send me something. Go to the mailbox, send mail, send me a message to the real Batman. Press check here. I can't send any mails to myself, but I want you to send me a message. Say to me, you are the Batman. All caps. This must be in all caps. If this is not in all caps, I won't send you anything. If you send me a message, and if I see it, I'll gift you some clear cube fragments. These are very useful because in order to use your skills, you need clear cube fragments. And especially if you're new, you don't have a lot to begin with. Some people I've heard will run out because they don't have a good source of clear cube fragments. If you send me a message with all caps Batman, and if you're new and returning, even if you're not new, if you watch this far and send me a message, I'm really happy you watch this video all the way to the end. I'll send you some clear cubes. Alright, that's it. This is the real Batman. Go and play some DFO.